I wrote this book with Scott Keller, my friend and colleague. It explores the boundaries of driving performance and health. Which do you think is the most important word in that phrase? Well, it's the middle word, and. And this is what I'm going to talk about, the magic of and. There's a challenge that many people have in organizations to shift their mindsets from thinking about either or options to thinking about having both one thing and the other thing. It's about embracing the paradoxes of organizational life to create new possibilities. New possibilities, better health, better performance, better business. And here's an example. Think about the apparent choice between speed and stability. Running the kind of company that responds fast, makes quick decisions, and has a high corporate metabolic rate. Or leading a stable organization that makes considered decisions. Look at the spinning plate. It's stable when it reaches a critical speed. Too slow and it falls off, too fast and it spins out of control. Get it right and, well, it works perfectly. We have speed and stability. This is where we want to be as leaders, the perfect spinners of plates. To achieve that, leaders need to think differently and lead differently. I'd like to share with you my experience of leaders and leadership. Over my career working with hundreds of leaders around the world, I've seen again and again that the way you lead is intrinsically bound up in the way that you think. To make this memorable and, dare I say, simple, I've categorized thinking and leading as being on 4 levels. You might recognize yourself at any stage at any time, but let's start at level 1. The most basic model of thinking is either or thinking. If you've got kids, you know what that's like. It's about the way we choose to cooperate or not. Either I win or I lose, and if I don't win, then I don't want anyone else to win either. In this instance, if I don't get everyone to agree to invest in my project, then I'll make sure that no one gets any money to invest in any of their ideas. The way we think determines our choices. How we choose to problem solve. Are you after clarity? Either or thinking brings great clarity. Either we respond quickly to customer demand, or we wait until we're ready to increase production for our product. It's about identity. We do it my way or the highway. I'm in charge, so this is what we're going to do. The subtext is, I am better than you. There's no room for compromise. You can imagine the business now, can't you? There is the boss and the rest. There is an adversarial atmosphere at work, and most people are too unwilling or unhappy to speak up and challenge the status quo. But let me be clear, it can work really well. If the proverbial house is on fire, then clear thinking is required. Get out now. If the business is in a crisis, people need clear direction, and level 1 thinking can help you act with the urgency that you need. However, most of the time, level 1 thinking isn't enough. In reality, you are absolving yourself of the leadership challenge. You're leading, but in a very uncompromising way that won't deliver great performance or progress. Your staff are frankly likely to be dismissive of you and do what you say even when they think you're wrong. They might not bother to share their knowledge with you. They've probably given up. This style of leadership requires huge amounts of energy and muscle just to batter on, without the real support of a loyal and energized team. The first question on the mind of a level 1 leader always starts with what? What are my choices? What do I do about this? Option A or option B? I hope you don't recognize yourselves here too often. So that's level 1, thinking and leading. Now, let's imagine that we've left that childlike either or thinking behind and are becoming more mature. As we develop and grow as thinkers, we realize that the world is a more complex and sophisticated place. Think about teenagers. We tend to move away from either or thinking to a model of thinking which is more about a continuum, shades of grey rather than black or white. It's about trade-offs and compromises. This is level 2 thinking. and it relates very well to a second level of leadership. Now, imagine that as a leader you're faced with a problem, another one. Your day is full of them. You need to find an answer, and you look to solve the problem by moving along the continuum, those shades of grey. This time you're asking how. How am I going to solve this? Where will I position myself on this continuum between these two apparent choices? For example, when talking to your colleagues about your pet investment project, how will you cooperate as a level 2 leader? This time you're thinking about a trade-off. If you support my investment plans, I might support your key proposal. You're thinking, you're scheming, you're doing deals, you're still at odds with your colleagues. What you're saying is, get out of my way on this investment project and I will keep out of your way on yours. It's all a compromise. It's about saving face. It's okay, it'll work to a degree, but it's not the kind of leadership that's going to achieve great things or great performance. Scott Fitzgerald of Great Gatsby fame said that the test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposed ideas in mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. This is the ambition of level 3 thinkers and leaders. Two opposed ideas and still able to function as a thinker and as a leader. Level 3 leadership is all about resolving issues. It's my job as a leader not just to choose, but in terms of two opposing tendencies, to try and get them both to work at the same time. Imagine that you're trying to manage business performance across the apparently competing objectives of improving customer service and cutting costs. A level 3 thinker will realize that two things can be achieved at the same time, that there is possibility and opportunity. This is a much more creative way of thinking, but critically, still sees them as opposing choices that pull him or her in different directions. Resolving them is therefore a really big challenge that requires a huge amount of effort. The level 3 leader will say, we want to focus on certain aspects of customer service for some customers, but somehow we'll have to achieve cost savings elsewhere to fund it. This leader will encourage the leadership team to think creatively and come up with a solution. This leader is not in competition with staff and with colleagues around them. This leader knows that if a balance can be struck so that the business can achieve both, improve customer service and reduce costs at the same time, then it's going to be good for the business. The only flaw is thinking that these two ambitions can only be achieved through compromise. Now, welcome to level 4 thinking and leadership. This is where we operate at our best. This is where you finally manage to spin the plate at the right speed to create the right kind of stability to drive maximum performance. You're at level 4 when you dissolve the concept of choice and embrace the concept of paradox. This is as far away from level 1 and win-lose as possible. This is the perfect win-win situation, when two apparently opposing ideas can be embraced. When you stop seeing choice, the graph is transformed, all limitations are removed. The level 4 leader, challenged to improve customer service and cut costs, will say, let's think about this differently. Let's reframe this. The level 4 leader will amplify the skills of his or her leadership team by inspiring them to work together to come up with a win-win solution. No adversaries here, no one is horse trading. So you as a level 4 leader are thinking, why can't we have both improve customer service and reduce costs? Surely, if we get customer service right the first time, we can reduce wasteful activity and take cost out of our operation. Let's take that money and reinvest it back into customer service and reduce our costs even more. In this way, the level 4 leader has created a strategically advantaged operating model. It's an exciting thought and it's energizing for everyone involved, and it applies to any apparently paradoxical challenge that you face. So level 4 thinking is not about choices, it's not about either or, it's not about locating on a continuum, but it is about reimagining the world so that two apparently paradoxical states can be achieved simultaneously. You can achieve speed and stability, freedom and security, creativity and intellectual rigor. Suddenly everything is possible. And it's a virtuous state to be in. As you get more of one, you get more of another. We amplify the benefits. If we put performance and health on these axes, as we get more health, we get more performance. And as we get more performance, we get more opportunity to build our health. This is where our plates are all spinning at the perfect speed. And you have the power to deliver. Level 1 leaders think about problems. Level 2 leaders think about puzzles to be solved. Level 3 leaders think about polarities. Level 4 leaders, though, think about paradox. And if you can operate more of the time as a level 4 leader, embracing the idea of paradox, you can create a paradigm where more people are embracing the idea of paradox, and your leadership action has inspired that. So, I hope this sounds simple and sensible, but I know I can still find myself in meetings saying, we can't have more of that because it means we're going to have less of something else. How often have I been able to resolve the problem in front of me by embracing the paradox? By saying, there is a way to have this and that. It's a challenge to be a level 4 thinker and leader all of the time. But that's what you're working towards, and I know I'm capable of it when I'm playing my best game. The moment that you realize that your thinking is trapped between the axis of a graph inside a gilded cage is the moment that you've stepped out of it. It's when you as a leader realize, you know what, right here, right now, I'm thinking either I can have this or I can have that. And I'm going to stop. In that moment of realization, you transform your thinking and your leadership, and you step into a different place where you're operating in a new world of endless possibilities.